I decided to breastfeed Daniel just because I felt it was the best thing for him. It's something I'd always wanted to do. It's always been my plan to breastfeed when I had children, and I just thought it was, the best thing, and I was totally prepared for giving it a good go. I'm generally quite a well person, so I thought, pass that on to my child and stuff like that, and I felt it was the best start in life to be breastfed for as long as I could do it. My experience of breastfeeding, I was really positive, really enjoyed it, really, really happy that I did it. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. I kind of thought it was going to be the most natural thing in the world. I was going to put this baby to the breast and they were just going to go with it, kind of thing. And it took a couple of weeks to kind of properly get the hang of it and stuff like that. I can see why people do kind of give up in the beginning, because it can be difficult to start with. But once you get over, once you get it, I found it the easiest thing in the world. It was great. It was great for me. It was great for Daniel. It did develop a fantastic bond. It was lovely to have our cuddle time and things like that. And it has made us, I think, a lot closer now because of it. It was, a great to know that you could completely provide for your child, that you could completely satisfy your own child. When I was breastfeeding, the people who helped me the most were the midwives in the hospital. Were great for helping, teaching you kind of what to do in different positions and stuff like that. My mum was a fantastic help to me. My mum, before having children, had worked in Forth Park Hospital, and that had been her job, was helping mums to learn how to breastfeed. So she was a fantastic resource. And I also went to a breastfeeding toddler group kind of thing. Lots of other mums where you could kind of talk to them and get kind of their tips and their advice. There was also my health visitor actually was one of the people who ran the group, and she was great for helping. The only problems or issues that I had was Daniel had got a bit of thrush, which he'd passed on to me. I knew that Daniel had thrush because his tongue and the inside bit of his mouth was white. He was about 7 months by this point in time, and it was one day when we were lying on the floor and I was tickling him and he had a big wide open mouth, and I thought, that doesn't look normal. And I was thankfully going to breastfeeding group that afternoon, and went and showed my health visitor, and right away she said that's what it is and gave us the treatments. And I think as long as you catch it quickly and you take the treatment, then there's no reason why it should affect your feeding at all. I breastfed Daniel for 9.5 months and only stopped breastfeeding him because he didn't want to do it anymore. He just was more interested in what was going on in the world round about him, didn't want to didn't want to lie in that position, and then he would maybe latch on for a few minutes and then he would come off and he'd look around and he'd latch on and then he'd come off, and then it got to the stage where as soon as you tried to put him into that position he started to get upset and stuff like that. So I just thought, right, that's, it was kind of the natural end of it. I was a bit upset at the time, but he didn't want to do it, and he'd done long enough. He'd done 9.5 months. That was the only reason that I stopped, was that he just didn't want to do it. When I fed in public, I generally wore discreet feeding tops like this one, which was great. You just unclipped the top bit and then it left a slot. There's a slot on kind of both sides, which we were able to kind of put the nipple out. You get the baby latched on, and then that was you. I just wore big cardigans to keep me cosy. And then, I say, it's not so much the latching on I found was the exposed bit. It was Daniel tended to be like, I'm finished. So you could just kind of cover yourself back up and then clip it back shut, and then that was you. The advice that I would give to mums who are thinking about breastfeeding is to give it a go. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody, and I don't think anybody should beat themselves up because it doesn't work. Do it for as long as you feel that you can, and if it's really not working, then it's not working, and it doesn't make you a bad mum or anything like that. It's just one of these things. So if you can do it, go for it. It's great.